How's it going, my G's? It's Art1fact. Hope everyone's got their coffees ready to do a bit of music learning today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate you. Also, while you're down there, you can grab this preset I've made for you today on this beautiful Friday for completely free. That's why I'm just asking you to like and subscribe. Pretty fair trade, if you don't mind me saying. Also, while you're down there, check out the links to my Discord, where we have a really nice group of people who like to chat about music and other stuff. So you're more than welcome to join us there, and it's another way you can support the channel. One more link down below as well is my website, where you can find information about my mastering, my preset packs. You can get them on there, and you can also find out the pricing for my one-on-one lessons, which I really recommend if you want to improve your sound quite affordably and quickly, and also hang out with me and have a bit of fun. So, with all that said and done, let's get into today's video. And today we're going to make an anti-riser, which is basically this kind of pitching down, rising up kind of sound. So we're increasing the tension, so that's why it's still a riser in a sense, but it's an anti-riser because the pitch is going down and not up. But let's have a little listen to the audio file, and then I'm going to walk you through the vital patch. So pretty nice little riser that I've made for this new track I'm currently working on. I'm not going to play you the drop yet because I want it to be a surprise. But yeah, so let's dive into the vital patch. So if I go ahead and open up this beautiful free synth, I have to remember to always move it over to the top left because my face is in the bottom right, and sometimes you don't see when I'm tweaking the little modes around here. Yeah. By the way, hope everyone is doing well. I'm pretty happy at the moment. It's like springtime. The sun's been out. It's been nice and hot in Berlin. Not hot, but like pleasurable to go out for walks and stuff. Got a gig coming up as well, so that's pretty exciting. And yeah, had some nice podcasts recently with Copper and Zardonic. If any of you guys watched those, link is up there for the last one with Zardonic. That was a lot of fun for me. But yeah, so this anti-riser, what we've got is I wanted to sort of make an arpeggiator. So I started with the LFO1 sort of controlling the volume of everything. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the 5 effects that we've got here. And go back to the voices, and let's turn off the filters, and we'll just sort of start from scratch almost. So I've got a saw wave, okay, and I've put it on my LFO1 here just to make this kind of movement. There's a bit of white noise in there, as you can hear as well. And just to put the actual movement in, I drag the LFO1 onto the level, onto the volume of the sample and the oscillator 1. And then I've just turned on the smear mode here because it sounds a bit nicer. And then we're adding another sine wave underneath. So this is pitched down a little bit more. Also on the level, you can just hear this kind of like bit of sub that comes in and out. And then finally, I've also got, what is this actually? It's another saw wave with a low pass on it. Kind of makes it a bit softer. And it's quite low pitched as well. And this is all, again, being volume automated by LFO1. And that's the main sort of arpeggiator sound. And what I went ahead and did next was add in some filters so we can make it, yeah, like get the right kind of tone from the sound. So a kind of low pass filter here. And then we also add in a high pass filter as well. And there's a little bit of movement on the cutoff on both of them on the LFO1. And those are the kind of main movements that are sort of happening on the LFO1 here. But then what I actually do is I use the LFO2 to create the change in pitch. So it actually starts up, I basically start up a sort of saw down, and at the top, this is going to be tracked to the advanced transpose here, and I've entered the value of 12, so it's exactly 1 octave. So it will start 1 octave up and go down over the course of 8 bars, which is exactly how long my MIDI file is here, you know. I'll sort of play that again here. Yeah, so you can see it's going to pitch down 1 octave exactly in time. So it's nice and easy to sort of match to your track. And the other thing that I've done just before we move on to the effects is I've also used the randomizer. I've used this on the filter cutoff in very, very small amounts, just to like keep the position of the filter like slightly different always throughout the course of the riser, so it's more natural. And I want you guys to be using the randomizer more because I think it's really, really good actually. And I've got much better patches recently by using it in really small amounts on little things to make the sound like naturally more natural. Yeah, it's really, really exciting actually to know that you can randomize stuff just a real little bit and it makes a massive difference to like the quality of the sound. So you should do that on everything really if you've got time. I mean, who's got time these days to randomize everything? But you should, all right? It's the most important thing you can do today with your life. So yeah, oscillator 1 frequency morph amount. What is that? Oh, this the effect, the smear effect. That's a little bit randomized as well, just to change the tone a little bit here and there. So anyway, we've got the randomizer. We've got the main sort of arpeggiator on the LFO1, and then the LFO2. As it's sort of pitching down, I also use the same LFO to add some other effects, and this is mostly going to be in the effects section. But also, I've put it on the smooth mode here. So I've actually started off the riser. You can see it starts with the smooth a little bit higher. So it's a bit less of an aggressive LFO. And it comes down in time, which makes the LFO begin to become more staccato. Because the increasing intention, right, this is important, right? Although it's not coming from the pitching up because it's pitching down, the increase in tension is coming from the sound being softer to begin with and then becoming more aggressive. So it starts off with a softer LFO pattern that gets a bit tighter and choppier towards the end. And also the effects that we're about to turn on, they start sort of like turned up. So we have more reverb on, more delay on, and that sort of comes down. So it becomes drier towards the end. So that's how it's becoming essentially more tense because it's getting a bit drier and more staccato as it goes through the progression. So I think that's all the important points I needed to mention around here. Let me just think if there's anything I've missed out. The only one other thing is I just made a little macro as well for the speed. So I've just tied that to the speed here so you could make a quick one. And later on what I've done is I've bounced it out, and then I've bounced out a quick version and a slow version, and I've used the audio files and chopped and changed them to have a little bit of a fast pattern at the end. But yeah, so let's move on to the effects then. Distortion first. Just literally to sort of saturate the oscillators together, you know, just a little bit, almost like glue compression, but the opposite. We're saturating everything up. We're not compressing it down. We're bringing it all up together. And then a bit of chorusing. You can tell that really does quite a lot to the sound. It's really making it a lot more, a lot wider. And the compressor then as well. And when the compressor's up all the way, it really brings out all the kind of tails and the high end. And so what I did to make use of that, but in a more rhythmic way, is I turned the mix almost off and then put that onto my LFO1 as well. So the arpeggiator is actually, the compressor is going at the same rate as the arpeggiator. So it's giving it this extra sort of dynamic boost every time the arpeggiator repeats, you know? So it brings it all a bit to life more, but in a dynamic way. So then the reverb, like I said before, we start with the LFO2 up high, and so the reverb also starts on, and then it comes off over time. So just by putting the LFO2 on the mix of the reverb here, and making sure we take out a lot of the low end. That sort of comes down quite nice and slowly. And same thing on the delay as well. I've got like a ping pong delay, fairly kind of long, and we just turn the mix pretty much almost to zero. Put on the LFO, bring that up so it starts up a bit higher. and comes down like that beautifully. And that pretty much is the anti-riser, which is available for you to grab now, and you're welcome. Yeah, so I just bounced that out, like I said, to an audio file here. I then just EQ'd it and put an extra little reverb on it. And then I did a little other alteration here, which is where I bounced out the fast one. And if you can hear at the end, I just sort of switched from the slow one to the fast one here. So right at the end, I get this little da-da-da-da just before the drop, which I'm not going to play to you yet. But yeah, I think that you can definitely make use of this patch, even though I'm using it in a song as well. I think it's a very like fundamental, almost basic kind of sound that can be heard in a lot of songs and serves a purpose. So it's not like so specific or unique, but it's very very effective in certain tracks to use as like a riser. You could also pitch it the other way or affect it. You know, you could change a lot of things within the patch yourself to make it your own, which is what I would encourage you to do. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been YouTube, you've been viewer. Goodbye.